Good afternoon and welcome to the October 16, 2022 Board of Public Works and Safety. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Led by Deputy Gibson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Hopkins.
Thank you. It's good to be with you today, and I'm going to share a scripture. I always like to do this to start out with an invocation, but this is from Titus, and it's the Good News translation, and it's basically for deacons and elders, but I think it applies to all of us. It's words to live by. In all things, you yourself must be an example of good behavior. Be sincere and serious in your teachings. Use sound words that cannot be criticized, so that your enemies may be put to shame, not having anything bad to say about you. Let's pray. Almighty God, thank you for the beauty and majesty we see in your creation. Thank you for the opportunity to care for the world you have made. We ask that your blessing would rest on this team today, that you would grant them great vision and enthusiasm for their work. Bless the efforts of their hands, the bonds between them, and the influence of their work in this meeting and beyond. Lord, as they plan and share together now, may you guide them by your Holy Spirit and lead them into all truth. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'd like to welcome everyone and remind you to turn your cell phones off. We'll begin with roll call.
Brian Daub.
Present.
Becky Gibson.
Here.
Diana Phillips. Present. Jim Barrett.
Here. Everyone has the minutes from the October 2nd meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those? Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Under new business, Robin Mays, you're coming up. She's requesting permission to close off Central Avenue from 4th to 7th Street from 3 to 6 p.m. on October 28th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're organizing a trick-or-treat event downtown, and we would like to be able to close the street off from 4th to 7th, from 3 to 6 on the 28th, which is a Saturday, and being a downtown business owner, I know it's not busy from 3 to 6. So I don't know if that would be all right.
Well, hopefully we'll be busy now.
Yes, we're working on it.
These are the things that I absolutely love, is the community coming together and doing things to bring people to their area, which is
Yes.
downtown. So I love this idea personally.
I think it'll be really fun, and Jama is organizing a whole bunch of different activities at the Oasis and
Awesome.
some costume contests, so we'd like to do it every year.
The only thing I would suggest is maybe, to shut off Fifth Street for 3 hours might be, have you thought
I was
of?
wondering about that, or if maybe we could do partial barricades there and have someone manning it.
Even 5th to 8th Street, I don't know if it was wanting to be more focused towards the 4th Street area with the arts and crafts there, or,
We were hoping it would start at 4th and go down to 7th, and then they can run back around to the Oasis for all the contests and
3 hours
games.
isn't that long a time, but it's up to everybody else. My first thought was,
Well, it focuses more on downtown if it's actually on Central, so.
Yeah,
I'll make-
Central will be closed. I'm assuming the side streets would remain open, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The main intersection will still be open for people to get through. It's just the Central Avenue.
I'm just thinking Fifth Street would be closed.
Fifth Street remain open.
Okay, Fifth Street would remain open.
The intersection, people, they
Okay.
have to,
Yeah.
the other intersection, but Central Avenue will be closed. That's
Is
the
that
only thing
what
they're
their
asking.
thought was Fifth Street was open?
I
or
wasn't
closed?
sure. I knew that you guys would know better, so I'd bring it to you.
I would keep Fifth Street open and just
Yeah.
have, you get the walking trip pass through there.
Yeah.
The lights and the signals, or we can have people manning it, whichever.
Yeah. That would be fine. I just
even
want the
3rd to
kids to be
5th or
safe.
something. So any way we can keep Fifth Street open is my only thought.
Yeah.
Let's
Fifth
do
Street
that, we'll
can
just
stay
have
open.
them crossing.
Will that work for you?
Yeah,
It will?
yeah.
So 4th through 7th, but 5th will stay open.
Stay open, yeah.
Correct.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll
as long as
second
we
it.
leave Fifth open.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So you're saying like there'll be barricades at
Just on
Fifth Street
Central.
on both sides on Central, keeping it?
Yeah, the
And
people
Fifth
can
Street
still,
will just go on and the
yeah,
people go through the light?
yeah,
Like the east-west will be open.
correct.
Yep.
Okay. Do we have any,
I'm just trying to think about that.
well, I was thinking about some signs, if we invent some signs for people traveling east and west, just to be extra cautious, or we can, might have to put some at that intersection or something. We'll work on that part. Okay, Ed Herrell, Whitewater Valley Railroad, requesting approval of use of 6 parking spaces during the Polar Express events.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Becky Prigg. I'm daughter of Ed Herrell, and also, he doesn't let me say that too often in a public setting, but we're here representing the Whitewater Valley Railroad in relation to the parking spots on 5th Street going eastbound and westbound. There's 3 spots there between the depot and 5th Third Bank. They've always been semi-problematic for us with the Polar Express event, and we try to keep people from parking there. They became what we felt was dangerous during last year, during the Winterfest especially, just because there's so many children that come to the Polar Express, that come to the Winterfest, and when they're going between cars that are parked there, they're completely obscured until they're in the street. And it's dark, and we have 150 cars coming in, 150 cars going out. Everybody's frantic because, my goodness, the train's gonna leave me. So we're asking that we barricade those spots on Friday afternoon, and then we'll lift the barricades on Sunday when the last train leaves the station, so that people don't park there and we can keep the vision good on both sides of the street.
How many spots?
It's 3 spots going east and 3 spots going west.
And this is just those 6 that you're talking about?
Correct.
Right.
I move to approve the request.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. You did a much better job than me, by the way. Item C, approval of resolution 2023-26, transfer within fire. Rosemary.
Resolution 2023-26 is a resolution to transfer $24,000 within the fire department, moving it from specialty pay to fringe.
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item D, we approve resolution 2023-27. It's a memorandum of understanding with local 2205 Connersville firefighters. We just need permission to approve that. We did meet with them and got that taken care of.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 4, down to the department matters, Director Colter.
Periodically, when we get a new trash truck driver, we come in and ask your permission, once they're fully trained and up to snuff, to bring them up to full pay, which is 80 extra cents when they're in the truck. I meant to bring it up at the last meeting. I wanted to ask to make it retroactive to the last pay, if that's okay with Rosemary.
Yes, it is.
Motion to accept this recommendation.
Second. We have a motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Move on down to department reports. Chief Harden.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Everyone should have a copy of my September monthly report. We had 302 calls for service, puts us at 2894 for the year. Have my staffing report, fuel report, our special events. We've had several football game coverages. We did a touch truck for God's Little Blessings, and we had 64 staff hours for Battle of the Food Trucks. So that was kind of the highlights. graphs and that sort of thing. There is a letter in here from ABS, who is our billing and compliance agency, company. I had talked to them back, I don't know, in the spring, that every month when we pay our bill, there's usually $200 to $350 worth of exchange fees that we end up being responsible for when someone uses a credit card. And my question was, there's a lot of places you go now where if you're going to use a credit card, then you're assessed those exchange fees. Jim, the owner, had said, yes, that was getting to be a more frequent question. They sent out a survey. This was the results of that survey amongst all their agencies. And when we say an exchange fee, this is very rarely an individual. This is very rarely you paying your bill with your credit card or your balance with your credit card. This is mainly insurance companies that are using what they call virtual cards. And that is where we're racking up the fees. So there is a process to go through to opt out of all of this, but it takes time. So it has to be disclosed ahead of time. And from the time a call is taken to the time that basically the billing window can close is about a year. So, and that's without appeals and all that sort of thing. So it may take up to a year for these to filter out and to start adopting the new policy where they're going to have to pay the exchange fees and not us. So, but that is something that I kind of had questioned early on in the year, and then it went to a survey, and this was the results of the survey, and they're working on that. So it's not huge money. It's $3,000 to $4,000 a year, but it's $3,000 to $4,000 a year. So I just kind of wanted to keep you guys in the loop as far as I had brought that up at one point months and months ago. I know we've all slept since then, but but it's something that's in progress. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chief Jones. Oh, I'm sorry. Director Steele. I went out of order. Help if I would read.
Keep you on your toes.
Right. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I just wanted to report on a couple of events. We had Community Day of Sharing that went really well. There's a lot of people that turned out for the event to help, and we had a few that came to the park. Unfortunately, we weren't able to go to 2nd Street, which was our plan. It just wasn't ready yet for us to do what we had planned on doing, so we're going to make another day of that. But we had individuals come and they pulled weeds, they helped us clean up our flower beds, cleaned windows at the Miller Building, and so it went well, and we made those adjustments that we needed to make. So it ended up being a really good day for everyone. The Renaissance Fair, that took place last week, and that was such a great event. It was something that we hadn't done before. We partnered with the farmers market, and the farmers market was in charge of taking care of all the vendor booths, and then we took care of providing the space along with the Highland games, and that went over really well. It was a successful evening. We didn't know what to anticipate for not doing it before, and we heard so many positive comments and a lot of people asking us to do it again next year, so that is our plan. We would love to do it again next year, and hopefully maybe do it on a different day. We did it on a Thursday night because the farmers market has been doing their evening farmers market at the park on Thursday evenings. So this was supposed to be a themed farmers market to kind of wrap up the season. And so that's why we chose the Thursday evening. I know that was a lot of people had that question, is why we chose a Thursday evening. And that was just kind of to wrap up the end of the season for the farmers market. And so we're talking about doing it on a Saturday next year possibly, or keeping it Thursday, I'm not sure yet. But it was a successful evening, and everyone had a great time. Trunk or treat, I've been talking about this, but it's coming up here in just a couple weeks.
We are still accepting vehicles if anybody wants to participate and set up a car. We are still accepting those vehicles. Just contact us at the Parks Department and we'll make sure to get you on the list. And then Christmas in the Park, we're still taking sponsorships and then registrations for setting up light displays. So that's going on. Just a quick update on the play set at Roberts Park, the large play set. We are having someone come in and make some of those repairs to that this week. And so hopefully we'll be able to get that done and then open back up within a week or so as soon as he completes that. And then we had Connersville Veterinary Clinic. They come in every year and they do a vaccine clinic for us, and they raised all the proceeds they donate it back to the park for the Bark Park. And so they were able to raise over $2,300 for us. So that was a great event for them. And we're very thankful that they continue that partnership with us. And it helps us to be able to provide different new things for the Bark Park or make any improvements that we need to make. So that really helps us in that area. Soccer just ended this weekend. They had their final tournaments on Saturday and it went well. We are looking forward to next year. We'll probably open registrations up in February, so be watching for that come at the start of the next year. Girls soccer registrations have ended. Teams have, I believe the drafts are going on and practices will start soon. And then boys registration is currently open until November 17th. So there's still time to sign up for the boys' winter basketball season. First responders and community trunk or treat is October 30th at 5 p.m. We'll go 5 to 7. And then Christmas in the Park open house lighting presentation. We're going to have carriage rides on December 7th at 5 p.m. Does anybody have any questions? We will have Mr. and Mrs. Claus there as well. I forgot to mention that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Now it's Chief Jones' turn.
Back to you. We will start off with the monthly report for the fire department for September. Beginning with the overtime for September, we had a total of $3,794.67. Manpower shortage portion of that was $1,294.56, and then the FLSA was $2,500.11. That was a 3-pay month also, so that's pretty good for a 3-pay month. Doing really well so far this year on our overtime as compared to the previous 2 years. Moving on down to fuel usage, we used 384 gallons of fuel for a total cost of $1,561.07. Total incidents for September was 174, 38 of those being fire related, 121 of those being EMS related, and we had 15 auto accidents. Training hours for September, we have 60 and a half total instructed hours, 16 of those EMS related, 44 and a half of those fire related. We had 6 inspections last month. Inspections were down a little bit. We were a little bit busy doing a lot of other things. And then had a total of 4 hours of fire investigation. Some other things to note there at the bottom. We did receive a total of 13 applications. 3 of those were disqualified for lack of required documents. There is a list, I believe it's on the second page of the application, that lists specifically everything that you have to include with your application, and there was a few of those that didn't include those things, so we automatically, the committee gets together and sits and goes through all the applications. I believe there's 4 of us, and then obviously anybody that doesn't have the required documentations, they get pulled right away. So we have 10 remaining. We were scheduled to have the agility tests last Saturday. I postponed it due to the weather, so I'm working on getting that rescheduled. The new radio project is almost complete. We did receive our portables. Our mobiles got installed into the vehicles. The only thing we're waiting on is to get our base stations installed, which they had to order some more equipment for. So we're waiting on that. Our SCBA's were postponed again. They're due to arrive at the end of this month, so it'll be nice when we get those so we can start using the radios along with the new SCBA's. That'll be really nice to have both of those at the same time. I also delivered the kindergarten through third grade fire prevention material to all the schools in the county. And this is, for people that don't know, this is made possible every year. We send out letters to like the businesses throughout the county, and then they make donations. And then it's really handled by a company that takes care of it for me. So the checks all come in and I send it to them, and then we order the materials. So even the schools in the county, the Fayette Central and Fayette and Everton gets materials. So it's by all the businesses in the county that donate money for that, so that's nice. That's all I have on my report. Moving on to the little packet that I dropped on you here at the last minute that I apologize for. Has to do with us looking into replacing the fire truck. Obviously, in the letter, I'll just kind of summarize it a little bit that I gave you. We did not get the AFG grant this year. We did discuss trying to go ahead and purchase and ordering the truck. And if you have any financing questions, I would have to refer you to Rosemary or the mayor. It's to the point to where, I mean, yeah, we could apply for the grant again, but the wait period to order a truck, by the time you wait to see if you get a grant, then you got a 2 or 3 wait period to order the truck. We did happen to stumble on a pretty decent deal in this process where I was getting 3 quotes for these trucks. All 3 quotes that I got were very similar trucks. The original quote that you can see there that came in low, and it, like I said, it just so happened to be the exact truck that we would have bought if we would have got the grant at the 1.175. That was the lowest bid. When I did meet with the salesman, he said that after going back through his records, he found that exact same truck that had already been ordered a year ago. And people tend to place orders ahead of time because they know it's going to take a long time to get the truck. It happened to fall through with another department, so that truck is actually still in queue to be made next year, but it basically was not being purchased because the deal kind of fell through. So he approached me with that. It's the exact same truck. We were allowed to, at this time, that's why he keeps asking me, because there's some things we wanted to change on it to better fit our needs. So he asked me, you know, do you have any idea, you know, if or when you'd be able to go ahead with this? And I said, well, you know, we have to wait till the budget's approved. And then obviously I have to talk to the board to get permission to move forward with that. So that being said, since this specific truck, the order was placed last year, it is a little cheaper because the price locks in when it's ordered. So that price is still there. So, and this truck is expected to come off the line next October. So if we were to go ahead and order this, we could go ahead and submit our change order, which he's wanting to do as soon as possible, with the changes that we would need, and then the cost would come in around roughly $75,000 less than what we had originally thought was going to be the cost of it. So not only would it be cheaper, but we would be able to get it in a year instead of like 2 to 3 years, which is on average with about every company. Any of these 3 companies that you place an order with today, you're looking at between 2 and 3 years to even see a truck. He basically described that as, you know, we had the virus come through, everybody shut down, but nobody quit placing orders. You know, all the orders are still being placed, but nothing was being made, so everything's that far out. So I personally feel like, you know, if we're going to go this route and pursue this, I think it's a great deal. Like I said, it's cheaper. We can get it in half the time. He said that it takes roughly 90 days to actually manufacture this truck from ground up. So it's not even due to go in, but he said they're really weird about submitting change orders. So there are several things that we did go through and want to change on the truck if we were going to move forward. Going down, you can see that I did have 2 other bids, and they're very similar trucks. I met with the next one that came in at 1.196. I did meet with that salesman and go over it. It was a very nice truck. Obviously, it's a little more expensive now at this point, and then the Pierce came in quite a bit higher. So I chose not to actually meet with that salesman. But Other than that, I don't really have, like I said, the financing questions would probably have to be answered by the professionals in that area.
If you, what we're looking to do is just approve this pending
Pending the
city
outcome.
council's approval of the budget
Approval of the
tonight.
budget.
Now, the way it's being funded is the state has been, it's been a very unique year. And I've been on the phone, literally nonstop with state legislators trying to explain to them really what's been done. So we grew, I'm just gonna use round numbers because I don't have the exact number in front of me. We grew at over 8%. And we've got a historical trend the last 3 years, between 6 and 8% we've grown every year. State legislator did something this year and they capped our growth quotient, or max levy, at 4%. So we grew at 8, but we can't capture it. We can only capture 4. It's really the first time we've ever done that. And then, so we were looking to do a growth levy appeal process, because it says, hey, we've been growing more than what you're saying. We can appeal this and get it to capture another 2%. Which is fine, but there's a formula they use, which is a long formula, and we qualified. We were right there. And then they changed the growth levy quotient to almost 15%, which historically has been between 3 and no more than 5. Went to 15. Well, it kicked us out. So now we can't appeal. But there is a workaround, and that is we pulled our equipment out of the general fund budget, because that 4% will be the general fund obligation. We're bonding this truck, and the payment that comes outside of that general fund obligation. So it's in addition to our general fund obligation, if that makes any sense. It still does not impact the tax rate, because our tax rate still will be flat. Actually, it might be a tick lower now. I'm not for sure the exact number. Do you remember if it stayed flat or lower after this?
I can't remember.
We've had to change it so much. It went up and down, but we've never increased the tax rate. It was decreasing the tax rate. We got it flat. It's either gonna be flat or slightly decreased. It's not gonna go up by doing this. But it still allows us to operate out of the general fund balance, which is, 4% is gonna be hard. There's no question. It's hard to fund everything with high inflation, everything growing, and they cap us our growth. So this was a creative solution to do that, but that's how the truck's going to be paid, so it's not going to impact our general fund balance. I know that might be a lot and a little, but
I actually had to ask for them to explain it to me probably 3 or 4 times.
when Adam brought it to my
Yeah,
attention,
I asked Adam also.
yeah, I didn't understand. It took me a lot of explanation, but now that I understand it, and I'm working with state legislator, because they capped us at 4% for the next 2 years, which is going to be hard. Very challenging, so we're working hard on it, trying to get them to not use a flat. What happens in Marion County and Fort Wayne doesn't happen in small communities, and it's impacting us in a bad way. So I'm just gonna show that to them, expose it to them. But this is a creative workaround solution to be able to fund a fire truck without impacting our general fund. Because if it was up to 4%, we'd never be able to do this truck. And the truck we got's 25 years old?
It's 30.
30 years old.
It's on the verge of
And
probably not
we
being
had some,
able to be used.
we had some issues with some of the riggers this year, outriggers, because they were rusty or breaking welds or something. I'm not for sure. We can't have
some
that.
structural issues that we're working on getting fixed just to be able to still use it, but it's starting to just, come into question as far as whether you really want to use it, because it's just of its age.
So that's a big
This
story.
will, and this will also help keep us, in compliance, with the, the ISO of the, 2 engines and ladder truck on a fire, and help us keep from wearing out our big platform ladder truck, which is now, I found out the other day, it's a $2 million replacement, so.
And you do want to emphasize the ISO because that affects everybody's
Yes.
homeowners'
Yes.
insurance rates.
Yes, and we've been working hard to get everything prepared for that. He was actually supposed to come, that's something else, this Wednesday, and we got delayed again until next spring, so somebody will be here next spring. But yeah, we're working hard on trying to gain another point on that too.
We at least want to keep it the same.
Would help,
at least.
yes,
At least.
yes. We're really close to gaining a point, so
Right.
we've been working hard at trying to do that.
What is it now?
We're just a few points shy from a 3, so we're a 4.
Right.
Yeah. But this will also help, maintain that also.
Well, I think it's a good idea, and I'm one for looking at and replacing equipment, because I think we've had to neglect that for a good while.
It's only so far down the road that you can kick the
Right.
can.
Right, and I realize it's a large purchase, I get it, you know, and having to deal with it all at one time, you know, is a big decision to make.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Bowles is sick today, sorry.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
Apologize, Chief Bowles is sick today, and hopefully he gets feeling better and will be back for the next one. Take a look at the monthly report. Overtime is up quite a bit. It was a 3-pay month. We have one officer that's on light duty. We have one that's at the academy. He'll be finished in December and will be back with us. Call volume, we were at 958 calls for the month. It's down a little bit from the previous, which is good. Gallons of fuel, we were down as well, from 2175 in August to 1753 last month. For the month, we had 92 training hours. And we have an open application process going that we've received quite a few applications, and that's open until the 27th. So if anyone out there wants to turn one in, please get that into us. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Barlow, you up first?
Aye.
Hello.
Monthly report for September utilities. I laid a copy of our fund balance in your spots before the meeting. We didn't quite have that ready last week, put it in the packet. Overtime was $7,101. Out of that, $11.50 was scheduled overtime. Attached is the work orders, wastewater, water plant reports. But why I have a few extra minutes here, not much on the report, I want to talk about a IDM programs that we run, a couple of water protection programs. One is our wellhead protection program, and the other one is our MS4 program. I have attached a short description of each program in your packet towards the back. But we'll do the, first the wellhead. You know we have 7 active wells. So pretty much what this does is requires us trying to protect our underground sources of water from contaminants that may adversely affect human health. It has 5 components. The first one is forming a local planning team, which we have done that. It's utilities management, the water plant operators, Matt Shirk from the health department, and Marla Steele from the parks department. Marla's on that because those wells in her backyard at both places, so behind the park and down at the Babe Ruth Park. So that has been established, and then also a delineation of the wellhead areas, which has been done by Westwood a few years ago. Which is a map on your back page that kind of shows the protected areas of that wellhead area. So what we do as a local planning team, we take a look at that map, take a complete inventory of any potential sites that could cause us problems, and make a list, contact numbers, and put it in a report. Management, number 4, management planning of education, of public education. Pretty much what I'm doing today is considered public education. We also have some flyers, put some things on Channel 3, Facebook, and I think I have just a few examples, some of the flyers that we do have that we do hand out that's in the packet. Then we also have a contingency planning for emergencies. That's also part of our local planning team. We get that together, who to call, make sure all those numbers are correct, and the kind of order of the people to call in case of any emergency in our wellhead area. So that's a short description of our wellhead protection. Is there any questions over that? The other item is our MS4, pretty much established to prevent stormwater pollution and to improve water quality in local bodies. The program had 4 components. First is public education. Once again, that's what this is. Facebook, flyers. Every once in a while, we'll go to an elementary school and present a little program to them. Illicit discharge, pretty much any discharge into our stormwater that isn't stormwater. Sometimes factories will have spills, those type of things. We get a phone call, just make sure what goes in that drain doesn't go into the river or actually to our sewer plant also. The third is construction site inspection. This is my favorite. New construction, we have to inspect erosion control, make sure they have their silt fences up, concrete washouts, you know, what are they going to do with the stormwater after the building is built, and backflow devices, grease traps, etc. So we try to inspect places from the first of construction to the end like 3 times in that time period. It's always been pretty good conversations with them, and it's one of these things they do in all cities, so they know what to expect. And the last thing is good housekeeping. We do this once a year. We inspect the transfer station, wastewater plant, service building, street department, our garage, and the parks department. And pretty much what we look for is their grease, oils, fuel, how they're getting stored, is it organized, if they have spill kits, inspect their drains, make sure there's not chemicals around the drain that's going down the drain. Just things like that. Any signs of chemical spills on the ground, under their vehicle. So we do that once a year. Any questions over that program? Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Got a few things for you today. First thing I wanted to bring up before I forget. We lost this past week our longest living city employee, Richard P. He hired on the fire department, I think in 1946. And when they first established the first aid unit, he was one of 2 of the first people that manned the first ambulance. He used to tell the stories about we had an ambulance, but Band-Aids or anything to put inside of it. So the community had to come together and provide all the stuff. But the city was able to buy a 1956 Cadillac ambulance. And he said that they used to have to use Life magazines as a splint, to splint somebody's broken arm or something. But anyway, Dick's funeral is tomorrow, and I just wanted to mention to everybody. Remember, the mayor and I had an opportunity to watch him as all the fire trucks and ambulances went by his house, because during COVID he wasn't able to have a birthday dinner or anything, so these guys all came together and did a parade, and it was one of the most fabulous things I've ever been a part of. So thanks to all the firemen and the EMS guys and the police that helped us do that 2 years ago, I think, on his birthday. Okay, I'll tell you about a few things that we have going on. A lot going on. Every day is busy from beginning to end, it seems like right now. Spending quite a bit of time working with Novalex and Phoenix on their building up there, trying to understand what their flows are going to be and where it's going to go and what we need to do to beef up a few things. Went up there last week with them, and things are in pretty good shape up there, and but we're trying to understand, because their water usage is going to be somewhere around 15 million gallons a month, and their sewer flows are looking like somewhere probably 5 million gallons a month. So it's going to be a lot of not only new revenue for the utilities, but just things that we need to make sure we've got this all right. Vision used somewhere around these levels, in the furthest back records that I can find easily are 2003, and they were using above these levels in them times. So we know we can do it, but some of that infrastructure has become a little older and not been used, so we're working on that. we're trying to get through the drainage reviews and the reviews on the sewer right now, so spending quite a bit of time there. We've got other projects also in the review process. Kroger's gas station that's coming and Reed Hospital are both driving hard towards getting their reviews done and being able to get started on those projects. I wanted to tell you just quickly on the Headworks project, we're probably about 60% of the way done with it. One of the things I'm most happiest about, and I'm going to have some numbers I think put together for you at the next meeting, but early on you gave us permission to invest some of the funds from that project during the time that it was sitting there waiting to be used. Now we're expending quite a bit of those funds and it's starting to get less, but I think we're going to make somewhere around $1 million on that invested money, because there were times when we had about $16 million sitting being invested. So we picked exactly the right time for that to happen, because these bonds are paying like crazy right now, and that's sometimes we're not making very much money, but right now it's very good. So the fact that we were able to invest those funds will pay for it. That'll leave us some extra money maybe to do something with, or not have, that we can prepay back on the bond. So it's a good thing. The street department intends to start picking up leaves on the 30th. That's a Monday. So I'll have more information on that as we get a little bit closer to that date. I wanted to thank all the city employees, not just the street and utilities, but there were others that helped too with getting the downtown project, the plants and everything put in the ground. We're gonna finish putting some plants in tomorrow, and that we'll have completed fourth to seventh, 3 blocks of the 6, and the other 3 blocks will probably have to wait till spring. Also, all those that helped on that project with the food truck event at the airport, there was a lot of city employees that were up there pitching in, and the street department spent quite a bit of time up there ahead of the event, and then up there cleaning up after the event. So they went the extra, and I appreciate it. The last thing out of the street department, I wanted to tell you that some of you may have seen the street department out in areas that you haven't ever seen it for a long time. We've been trying to make an extra push to get out into the neighborhoods, into some corners and crevices of the city that sweeper hasn't seen a lot. So as we move towards the end of the year, if the sweeper hasn't been in your neighborhood, get a hold of me and we'll try to get it out there. The last thing I wanted to tell you, I've been working on the beginnings of the year-end report for the street department, and I just got to thinking about all of the equipment upgrades that we've been able to do in the street department. How many trucks did we order?
With this last round?
Mm-hmm.
1.
Just 1 for the street
We
department.
got a truck, got a backhoe, and a loader.
So
Just one.
pretty proud of the equipment upgrades that we've been able to make. I thought it was 2, but is it
I got
1?
2 for the parks.
Okay.
I think it was 1 for street.
Good enough. So in the 4 years, in the last 3.5 years, we've got a paint machine, a hot mix machine, a side-by-side with blade and salt box, 2 new trash trucks, a new loader's ordered, and a new backhoe. We've got, we put a couple of dump beds on a couple of flatbeds that we have that have made a big difference in being able to get things done. We got 2 used dump trucks that are very good and dependable. I bought a couple of trucks that were 1 or 2 years old in this time, and now we're getting another new one that will have a blade.
Salt box and a blade.
Salt box and a blade on it. We've got at least 5 new mowers that I can remember in this period of time. And so we've almost switched out just about everything old over there that needed switched out. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good accomplishment over these years. So I want to thank all of you for allowing us to do those things, and Rosemary for helping us figure out where to rob money from to get, to be able to pay for all these upgrades, so.
I didn't rob anybody.
Just rob Peter to pay Paul or something. So, you know, sometimes we have money and funds that, you know, she helps us find a little extra where we can do some of these things, so. Just wanted to mention that. Any questions about any of the reports? Thank you.
Thank you.
Director Powsey.
Hello.
Hello.
For the month of September, we had 11 hours, 5 minutes of media production, 21 hours, 50 minutes of original production. We tried to do the YouTube analytics for you as well now, so you can take a look at that. For the views for the month, we had 10,300 views, which is 2,100 hours of watch time, 3,206 subscribers. Top content, football. People love to watch football. We had the Rushville away game was very popular. So something I wanted to bring to everyone's attention is that we have the mayor candidate debate this Friday, 7 p.m. It will be live on Channel 3 as well as on our YouTube channel, which if you're not a subscriber, you can just look for Local TV 3, click subscribe and notify, and you'll know when we're live. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, Bill. Moving on to old business, going on the old business. Miscellaneous business. Claims.
Claims for Monday, October 16th, the city is $158,554.21. Payroll, $499,241.51. Utilities, $369,165.28.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Moving down to public forum. Anyone from the public have anything to say? No? Sure? I'll take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
A motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Have a good afternoon.